Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Malice in the Mitten. I'm your host, Tracy Preston, along with my bestie, Christine Mulligan. Hey, Christine.
Hey, Trace. Hey, everybody. All right, today we're doing the second part, right?
Yes, today we are continuing with our Shadows of Macomb County, episode 2. But before we do, I wanted to read something to you and to all of our listeners that I feel is important. A listener of ours left a comment on our YouTube channel after listening to our previous show in the series regarding Jennifer Kukla. I read her detailed comment last night, and to be honest, I haven't stopped thinking about it. So I want to thank this listener for their comment, and this is one of the reasons we do our show, and that is awareness. So here it is. Quote, I live in Macomb and work closely with DHHS, which is Department of Health and Human Services. So I'm a bit more sensitive to not only the signs of someone spiraling out of control, but also to, air quotes here, the cracks in the system that people fall through. The signs of people spiraling out of control are not always invisible. Some people can see the cracks in the facade, but they have no idea what to do, who to call, or what to say. That information is readily available only to those who already know it and know where to look. You can't just call the police and unload a bunch of hunches, suspicions, and vague feelings about someone. And even if you do, the police can only do a spot welfare check. They can't go through your medications, they can't check inside your refrigerator, and they're not trained to spot subtle psychological signs. They can only look for the obvious in just a few minutes of observation, and life has to go on. He, meaning Jennifer's husband, may have had to leave town for work or be fired. Blue-collar workers often have to work at inappropriate times. Life doesn't stop for you just because it's inconvenient. He may have tried to make arrangements and failed. We probably don't know because nobody asked, or nobody is saying. It would be interesting to watch the video of his interrogation. I think that would answer a lot of questions. But we likely will never see it online because it doesn't end in any spectacular clickbait revelations. Plus, there's a fact almost everyone has seen. Love can make one blind to so many red flags. Nobody wants to admit the one they love is some sort of monster, or turning into one, or to admit that the one they love is spiraling out of control. And I'm so happy and thankful that this person took the time to give this comment to us for the show, and I thought it was important that we read it.
Absolutely, and it is on point. I mean, you can't always see when things are out of control, which is, another reason why we like doing this podcast, is because we talk about it from different angles, and sometimes we pick it apart. The story that's out there sounds opposite of what the story that happens in court. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's why our podcast is actually kind of great, because you dive into it and you think about it in the aftermath. Sometimes hindsight's 20/20. Sometimes hindsight just has more questions than answers. That's the beautiful thing about talking through these things. So hopefully the next time, God forbid, like the first episode, a next time happens, but something similar the next time, maybe someone will say, hey, that one time that woman ended up murdering her kids. Do you know what I mean? Because nobody paid attention or what have you. So getting it out there, talking about it, maybe it will make a next time not possible, or at least when someone else is suffering, they'll think about it a little extra. So yeah, I love that they left that comment. And I'm not quite sure if they were chastising us or if they were cheering us, to tell you the truth. Because I don't always remember everything we say because it is off the cuff. We don't script our calls. You tell me a story. Of course, we script the story to a certain extent. You do research. We have, details from other places. But then we just talk about it. And it goes where it brings us. And sometimes I might say things that are flippant because it is just a conversation between friends. And sometimes we say things that are poignant and relevant because we are nurses. So having other people's perspective is just more conversation for the conversations that we want to be having. So we ward off next times. So thank you very much for posting that. And anybody else that wants to comment, join the conversation. The more the merrier. Unfortunately, even when we're speaking about such evils.
I couldn't agree more. And initially when I read it, you never know what you're going to get. So I was just taking a deep breath in. But, maybe for the first second or two, I was thinking, we're going to get delivered something here that might not be very nice. But the more I read it, I appreciated this person's, and I don't know if it's a male or female, but I appreciated their visibility on it. And what I also appreciated, which I guess I just didn't think about, is you don't know what to do. You don't know who to call. Maybe you feel helpless in the whole situation. You just really don't know what to do because you've never dealt with anything like it before. So, that also makes me feel good that we post where to call, whether it's a phone call, whether it's an online resource for help. So I do thank this person so much for taking the time because it was a well thought out comment and I appreciated all the details. So again, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Please keep listening and please keep commenting. So, Christine, let's dive in. This is season 10, episode 19, The Innocent Protector, the Lisa Putman case.
Before we begin, we want to share a content warning. This episode contains discussion of real-world violence, including murder of a social worker in the line of duty, threats of violence, and the impact of trauma on families and communities. While this story is told with care and respect, some listeners may find the material distressing. Please take a pause if you need one and take care of yourself as you listen. If you or someone you loved is struggling with trauma, fear, or emotional distress, support is available. You can contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 or reach out to local resources in your community. You are not alone, and asking for help is a sign of strength.
Lisa Putman believed in protecting others, and today we tell her story. It was an ordinary Wednesday in May of 1998. It was warm, quiet, the kind of afternoon that smells like fresh cut grass and lilacs. A silver Chevy Cavalier rolled slowly down the street to her next appointment. Behind the wheel was Lisa Putman. She was 28 years old, a child protective services worker for Macomb County. She was on a routine home visit, just another case file, a follow-up on a report of child neglect. Lisa would never make it home. When her body was found a few days later in a wooded area, it sent shockwaves through Michigan's social work community because Lisa Putman wasn't just doing her job. She was trying to save 2 little girls. And for that, she was murdered. Lisa Marie Putman was the kind of person you picture when you hear the word helper. Born in St. Clair Shores, raised Catholic, studied social work at Oakland County. By 1998, she had been with the Macomb County Department of Social Services for 5 years. Colleagues called her steady, soft-spoken, but fearless. She had a habit of leaving little post-its on coworkers' desks that read, "Hang in there, we make a difference." Her job was to investigate complaints of child abuse and neglect, the kind of work that requires equal parts compassion and armor. Lisa's assignment was to verify living conditions and assess risk, a standard follow-up home check. No partner, no escort, just Lisa and her clipboard. Lisa was not a stranger at the door that day in May. She had been there once before. She was there because the system sent her, and because children needed help. According to investigations Discovery ID show called Twisted Sisters, Lisa had been assigned to investigate the living conditions of 2 young children being raised by sisters Jacqueline and Josephine Verellen in Macomb County. The sisters' home was reported to be unsafe, unsanitary, chaotic, and unfit for children. Child Protective Services had been alerted. Lisa's first visit confirmed these concerns. The conditions were severe enough that Lisa made the decision to temporarily remove the children from the home. The sisters were given a clear directive: clean the house, correct the hazards, and make it safe, or risk losing the children permanently. Now, this was not punishment. This was an opportunity. Days later, Lisa returned to the Verellen home to reassess, but nothing had changed. The filth remained, the hazards remained. The children, if returned, would be unsafe. Now, it was during this second visit that Lisa made her decision and told the sisters plainly the children would not be coming back. They would be relocated permanently. And this was the moment that changed everything. Jacqueline and Josephine demanded to know who had reported them to Child Protective Services, but Lisa refused to answer their questions. By law and by ethics, she could not reveal that information. She stood her ground, and for that, she was killed. Now, what followed was sudden, brutal, and calculated. They struck her repeatedly in the head. Lisa died in that house, doing her job, protecting children, and refusing to betray the trust placed in her. Now, after the murder, the sisters wrapped Lisa's body in a blanket, loaded her into a vehicle, and dumped her remains in a wooded area as though she could be discarded as easily as they believed responsibility could be avoided. When Lisa failed to return from her scheduled home visit and did not check in as expected, her supervisor at Child Protective Services raised the alarm. Lisa's absence was immediately concerning because she was on official duty. Her itinerary was known. She failed to return or make contact after the visit. Once CPS realized something was wrong, law enforcement was notified, and the missing person investigation began. At the time of Lisa's murder, Child Protective Services safety protocols were far more limited than they are today. In the 1990s, CPS caseworkers often conducted home visits alone, even in situations involving volatile family dynamics, prior complaints, or unsafe living conditions. There were no mandatory partner requirements, no GPS tracking, and limited real-time communication with supervisors once a visit began. Now, check-in procedures did exist, but they relied heavily on expected return times rather than active monitoring. When a worker failed to return or make contact, concern escalated, but only after time had already passed. Lisa followed the procedures that existed at the time. She documented the conditions, she returned for a follow-up assessment, and she did so alone. In the years since her death, CPS agencies nationwide have revised safety policies, including enhanced risk assessments, improved communication standards, and, in some cases, paired visits for high-risk situations. Those changes came too late for Lisa. When Lisa failed to return from her scheduled home visit, concern, as I mentioned, escalated quickly. Lisa was not off duty. She was not unreachable by accident. She was working a known case. Her supervisor at Child Protective Services reviewed her schedule and case notes. There was one visit circled, a follow-up appointment tied to a previous removal of children, the Verellen sisters. That address became Lisa's last confirmed destination. When law enforcement was notified, investigators began where they always do, with the last place a missing person was known to be alive. They went to the sisters' home. And when officers arrived at the residence shared by Jacqueline and Josephine Verellen, the sisters acknowledged Lisa had been there. They also said she had left. But the house, well, that told a different story. Investigators noted signs of disturbance inside the home. Areas that appeared recently cleaned, but unevenly so. Inconsistencies in the sisters' accounts of when Lisa arrived and when she supposedly left. But nothing was overt enough for an immediate arrest. But nothing felt right. Police left, and they came back. As pressure increased and interviews continued, the sisters' stories shifted. Timelines changed. Details contradicted one another. And then one of them broke. It was Josephine Verellen, who ultimately cracked under interrogation. She told police that Lisa had refused to identify who reported the sisters to CPS, and that refusal enraged them. Josephine admitted that both sisters participated, grabbing a heavy hammer and striking Lisa repeatedly in the head. After Lisa was dead, they wrapped her body in a blanket. Then they drove. Josephine led police to a wooded area where Lisa's body had been discarded. The case was no longer a disappearance. It was a homicide. Once Lisa's body was recovered from the wooded area, the investigation moved swiftly. Josephine Verellen's confession placed both sisters at the center of the crime. Physical evidence, timelines, and inconsistencies in their earlier statements aligned with what she told investigators. Within hours, Jacqueline Verellen was taken into custody, and Josephine Verellen was formally arrested shortly thereafter. Both sisters were charged with first-degree murder, reflecting premeditation, the use of a deadly weapon, and the deliberate effort to conceal the crime. For law enforcement, this was no longer a missing persons case that ended in tragedy. It was a targeted killing of a public servant. The interrogations revealed a stark contrast between the two sisters. Jacqueline remained guarded, defensive, and measured in her responses. Josephine did not. As questioning continued, pressure mounted. Timelines were challenged, contradictions exposed, and evidence laid out piece by piece. It was Josephine who began to unravel. She admitted that the sisters had demanded to know who reported them to CPS. She admitted that Lisa refused, and she admitted that both she and Jacqueline participated in the attack. Josephine's confession was not an attempt to absolve herself. It was an acknowledgement that the truth could no longer be held back. That confession became the backbone of the prosecution's case. Prosecutors initially prepared for trial under first-degree murder charges, which carried the possibility of life imprisonment. But trials are uncertain. And this case involved a confession, a shared residence, no dispute over cause of death, and a family already devastated by loss. In 1998, both sisters entered plea agreements. They pled guilty to second-degree murder and kidnapping. The pleas ensured accountability without re-traumatizing Lisa's family through a prolonged trial, guaranteed long-term incarceration, and a permanent record acknowledging responsibility. Sentencing reflected the court's assessment of culpability. Jacqueline Verellen, 50 years in prison, minimum of 25 years before parole eligibility. Josephine Verellen, 75 years in prison, with a minimum of 50 years before parole eligibility. That difference mattered. Josephine's confession and her deeper involvement resulted in a significantly longer sentence. Lisa Putman did not die because she made a mistake. She died because she did her job. She followed procedure. She protected children. She refused to betray confidentiality even when threatened. Her murder exposed the risks faced daily by social workers and CPS investigators, particularly during an era when safety protocols were limited and home visits were often conducted alone. In the years following her death, CPS agencies reassessed risk assessment procedures. Communication and check-in policies were strengthened. The dangers faced by frontline social workers were more openly acknowledged, but those changes did not bring Lisa back. They stand as proof that her life and her loss mattered. Lisa Putman went into that home to protect children who could not protect themselves. She never left, and she should be remembered not for how she died, but for why she was there. Lisa did what society asks of its social workers every day. She walked into homes that most of us would hesitate to approach. She made difficult decisions under pressure, and she stood between vulnerable children and the harm they could not escape on their own. She did not raise her voice. She did not threaten. She simply told the truth and followed the law. Lisa was not reckless. She was responsible. Her death was not the result of carelessness, but of a system that expected one person to carry enormous risk alone. Now, if there is anything to take from Lisa's story, it's this. Social workers are not enemies. They are not intruders, and they are not there to punish. They are there because someone needs help. They show up when others won't. They step into chaos to protect children, families, and futures that cannot protect themselves. Advocating for stronger safety protections, better staffing, and real support for social workers is not political. It's humane. And remembering Lisa means recognizing the cost of asking people to do this work without enough protection. Lisa Putman went where she was sent. She did what was right, and she paid for it with her life. Tonight we say her name, and we remember why she mattered.
She walked into the house believing she was helping. That's the part that gets me, is she walked into the house and the door shut behind her, and she was there for the children. I am so mad right now. I can't even really comment on anything else. I don't know. I can imagine how the community erupted the way you said earlier. The community erupted in grief. I would have been one of those community members so mad that this woman, and I get it. I get both sides. Some people are like, oh, social workers, they get involved where they shouldn't. And, everyone's got their story and everyone's got their take on it, depending on their experience with social workers and children departments and all of that. But obviously, these people were no good. And I'm grateful that they didn't have the kids there. This was her going to check to see if the kids could go there, right?
Exactly. She was going because this woman wanted to get her children back. But clearly they were taken for a reason.
Clearly, yeah.
Now, Lisa's murder forced Michigan to change how social workers conduct home visits. After Lisa's death, the state mandated 2-person teams for high-risk cases and offered self-defense training for field staff. But those policies were written in blood. Governor John Engler ordered a review of state protective services protocols. And for the first time, the public saw how understaffed and underprotected these workers were. Every year since, Macomb County employees have held a memorial on May 20th, Lisa Putman Day. They plant white lilies outside the county building. Her name is engraved on the National Memorial for Social Workers in Washington, D.C.
Wow, when you hear this story, it makes you wonder how these people keep doing that job. All of the social workers that have had bad experiences or hear about a story like this, it's amazing that they keep doing the work. They keep going and doing the job even after something like this. And it took this for them to think of the safety of their people when they were sending them into sometimes hostile places. Because, hey, listen, thankfully, I've never done anything that has had my children taken away. But if I have, you bet darn tootin' I'd be going the extra mile to get them back. So to some extent, I understand the passionate rage that the mothers or fathers or whoever is fighting to get the children back out of social services, out of child protection. I feel the rage, but you have to remember what got them there in the first place. Even if it was a misunderstanding, because sometimes that happens. I guess, I believe people's stories. I believe what they tell me. However, it got there. So when anything gets to wherever it's going or wherever it ends up, that obviously means that you have to try harder and better to undo it, if that's the case that you're working towards. But to have a death of a social worker, go to a hostile environment, to have that be the awakening, the lightning bolt to send more than one person, like bare minimum, I think that should have always been a thing. But I guess I'm, in a twisted way, grateful that at least they got there. Does that make sense? Am I just babbling? Because this is just a lot.
No, it does make sense. And, the crazy thing is that you, for whatever, lost your children. And I can't imagine that was an easy process. I mean, we've done stories before where people, like, let's just say the Ricky Holland case. They never took that little boy away and everybody saw the signs, right? So I don't know exactly what kind of danger they were in, but I'm just going to assume it was not good. And if you're trying to get your children back and you have a meeting set with a social worker, I mean, that's your moment to be on your best behavior, right? Best foot forward, house is clean, speak to how much you love and miss your children. But no, these people plotted and planned. They were going to kill this woman. Like, how in the hell do you think that that's going to get your kids back? Like, this, you stepped up your game.
But I guess, that's us implying, that's us expecting people to be decent humans, even when they're not decent humans. Apparently, these people were definitively not decent humans. So what we're left with is Lisa's coworkers that have to go, that know firsthand knowledge of all of this, that watched it unfold in the quick week that it happened. And then what? They just go back to work. They just go back to doing it because, thankfully they are helping a lot of people. So they go back to it.
Right. And, I also think of nurses that work for home health care. I have a very good friend who she goes alone all the time. And she goes into, you're not going into posh neighborhoods all the time. I would say that's rare. They're going into some pretty dangerous, shady neighborhoods. God bless everybody who does it because I would be absolutely frightened.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
Those of us that help and do, we just keep helping and doing, even after the worst happens. Ultimately, you have to strive for the better. You have to believe in the good.
Right.
I don't know. Call me a positive pansy. I don't know. I'm always, crappy things happen, disgusting, distraught things happen, but things don't happen to us. They happen for us. So any action that's received, you have to turn it around into where you want it to go. And I don't know. For the better is always the better place to strive for. But we say that as sane people that are not in the situation. So it kind of is a one-sided conversation.
Right. Now they keep going because someone has to. Lisa's colleagues went back into the field the very next day, shaking, terrified, but determined. That's the thing about helpers. Even after the worst, they still believe in the good. Now, Lisa Marie Putman was 28 years old. She died doing what she believed was right, protecting a child. Her legacy isn't just a policy change. It's a reminder that every knock on a door carries risk, and every act of compassion comes with a cost. Next time on Shadows of Macomb County, we turn back the clock to 1987, when a Macomb cabinet maker named Robert DeRue committed one of the most haunting family murders in Michigan history. Because some shadows don't fade, they just wait for new light to fall on them. We thank you for sticking with us through the Shadows of Macomb County. These stories are not easy to tell, and they're certainly not easy to hear, especially for those in the community where these happen. This podcast is retelling stories so that these people are not forgotten and to spread awareness and compassion. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for listening to our podcast. Please follow us on TikTok and YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, literally anywhere you can find us. So again, thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you back on Wednesday for Round Robin. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.